everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Women's Build. I am very excited to be participating in this and would love to share not only my story with you, but some of my ideas and mano'a about how we can have more women home ownership, understanding their finances, being more leaders in their community, specifically ours. So I'm super excited to jump in with you folks and share a little bit more about myself and how I'd be able to help you do that. So just to introduce myself, my name is Shan Otare, Chantel. Everyone calls me Shan now. I'm from Kona on the Big Island, where most of you are from, I'm assuming. And I have been through a lifelong story. I am now 41 years old, and I am graduated. That's my name for it. Retired is what the rest of the world calls it, but I call it graduated. I couldn't wrap my head around that retirement word yet. Not quite yet. Anywho, my husband and I were high school sweethearts. We had twins at 15 and 17 years old. Yikes. Okay, so we had children really young. By the time we were 20 and 22, we actually had 4 daughters altogether. Excuse the loud car. I can't control those things. Anywho, we had 4 kids really early on. And when I turned 18, in the middle of that, my dad kicked me out of my house where I was living, not because I did anything wrong or that I had the kids or anything. There was no falling out. That simply was the rule for the house that I grew up in. And that is kind of what started the role of what I've been doing since then, because I've been of the mindset that, you know, you got to take care of yourself. You've got to figure things out for yourself. So right after my dad asked me to leave, I went to live with my boyfriend at that time. He's my husband now. His family for about a year or so. And we started looking for our own place, and we ended up being able to qualify for Section 8 housing. We lived right down the street from where I am right now in Kona at Jack Hall Memorial Housing. Some of you may know it. Some of you may have driven by it, never actually been there. But it's a Section 8 government subsidized basically low income housing project. And we lived there for 12 years. And it was there that we really gained a hunger to want something different. We were there long enough to say, no more. This is not something we want for ourselves, being still very young parents, and for our children. We decided that we had to make a shift. So we did things like read books, and like we didn't have access to much. We went to the library a lot. I'm not sure how long many of you have been in Kona, but where the, not Pacific Island Fitness, but the Planet Fitness, where Planet Fitness is currently, it used to be Borders bookstore, and me and my husband would take our girls there for the whole weekend. We'd like pack lunches, they could go off in the areas, and my husband and I would just read finance books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is the guy from Hilo, right? Robert Kiyosaki. We just started digging through all these books and started learning more about finances. And that's the number one thing that I really want you folks to take away. It really is important to learn about money. Money is not everything. I can tell you that right now. And I'm sure it's you might be thinking it might be easy for you to say from your position, but don't forget where I just told you I came from, right? I'm from the ghetto. Okay. We really experienced that. And what we realized was the equalizer, the great equalizer in life, you may have heard this, is an education. We couldn't afford one. So we went and got it through books. We signed up for programs. We took courses that we actually couldn't afford. We actually got into debt for some of these educational courses that we took. Now, I don't recommend that you do that, and that's why I share that, so that you understand that there's a time and place for everything that you pay for. We paid $12,000 for something that we did not have at that time, but we took it. It was great information, and we were able to circle back around to it later. What we really started realizing was that if we were going to change our finances, right, especially you women out there, if we were going to change our finances, especially those of us who are really running our households, we had to do something different. Look at who surrounds you. Are your parents in a really good financial position? If they're not, then maybe they might not be the best people to take your advice from. I'm not saying they're bad people. You take their like parenting advice, right? But money advice, you might want to go outside from that. And that was a big thing that I had to get over. I really felt like I knew a lot of what I needed to know, but yet I wasn't getting further. If you folks are feeling like you're spinning your wheels, or you're working harder than ever, you're making more money than ever, and you still don't have a house, right? Or you still are not able to really get the things that you want or do the things that you want, that is a question you have to ask. What do you need to do different? And so what we did was we hired a coach, a money coach, how to understand our personal finances. And Eventually that company asked me to become a coach because I was a good teacher, and I was with there for 12 years, from Jack Hall, just becoming an instructor with them. I've been able to way all the way up to executive vice president of the company up until last year, which is when I just retired. In that time, since we're there, we use that education that we got from understanding how to do our finances, as well as the education that we got back when me and my husband used to go with my daughters to, Borders and read all those financial books about real estate. We put those things together, and in the last 5 years, actually 6 years now, since 2015 to now, we've bought 11 homes here in Kona. Some of them we've kept as rentals, some of them we have flipped and we've resold. And what those rentals that we've kept have allowed us to do is retire. My husband was working at the Sheraton here in Kona for 15 years. He was able to retire 2 years ago at the age of 38, right? I left my job at the age of 40 last year, and we're able really to graduate. Remember that new word, I'm not using the word retire, right? Last year. And what that means for us, it doesn't mean that we stop doing everything. It means that we have options. We don't have to do all the things that, we thought we had to do. We created that option by creating an income source for us, so that we could choose if we wanted to work, or we could choose if we wanted to live abroad, or we could choose if we just wanted to sleep in for a whole year. I mean, like, that is the beauty of choice. And that is what I want to share with you folks. Home ownership is so key to that. But where do you even start with that, right? I feel like there's going to be a lot of wonderful speakers who will, this week or whenever you folks are going to listen to all of these broadcasts, are going to help you with a lot of the hows. My part, what I really want to share with you is the beginning stage of it and where it all starts. So let me pull up a real quick PowerPoint presentation I want to share with you. I'm just going to kind of go through these, I don't want to say quickly, but I really want to share with you what we've done, or what I've done, why can't I talk? What I really put together as far as what became my life and why we were able to get from the ghetto to where we are right now with, with the homes and, all the different things that we have, and being able to graduate in life. It really all starts with your mindset. All right. It starts with your mindset. And really, it really comes down to dreams versus goals. I hear a lot of people say, my dream is this, my dream is that. All right. And there's a difference between dreams and goals, right? First of all, your dreams deserve vision boards, right? Have you ever heard of a vision board? I got a YouTube channel. I'll share that with you. I have a whole thing on a vision board and a lot of the things I'm going to talk about. But you can go in there and see how to make a vision board. But that's different from a goal, where a goal needs a daily routine. It's something that you're going to operate in every single day. Also, dreams are going to be big. These are the huge things that actually seem super far off from where you are. A goal is small, because remember, it's the daily routine. It's the small little steps that you make on the pathway to the big dream. Then we have our dreams. Our dreams we should share, right? We share our dreams. Tell your parents, tell your children, my dream is one day to own a home, on a 5-acre property in Holualoa, and have a farm, and be very specific about it. Guys, that's what we have now. I was very specific on living in Honolulu. I was very specific about having many acres and buying it for cheap. My husband was the one who got us, a great deal on that. But we put it out there, right? And all these things got drawn into us. Now our goals were private. How we did that, right? All the different steps that we took, the people that we talked to, the education that we took to understand how things work with the county and realtors. Those small little goals are what got us to the big dreams. Are you guys starting to see the differences with these? Now, your thoughts really become your reality. So I really want you to take a look at the screen and think about this in that context, right? What does your reality currently look like? I'm going to read some of these, right? What is your home like, your body, your career, your car, your investments, your inner peace? Like, what is your standing on that if you were to ask yourself? But have you ever asked yourself these questions that I have listed here? Things like, why can't I ever seem to get there? Have any of you ever asked yourself that? I mean, I know that I've asked myself that many times before I really started rolling, before my mindset really started to grow. I was like, we're working so hard. What the heck are we doing wrong, right? Why do I always get so close and then fall short? I mean, are some of these questions sounding familiar to you? How is everyone else able to get the things that they get? Am I just not good enough? All these questions used to pour into my mind, which is, of course, how I was able to build this PowerPoint. But I've found, as I've been helping more and more women, that these are very common questions amongst, women, and of course, moms and wives across the board. It really starts with that mindset. And so I have something called the Ghetto to Global transition. So Ghetto to Global, that's really came from our side. You know, we were living in the actual ghetto, right? And we've taken our kids all over the world since, right? Our kids are now 18 to 23 years old. They've grown, but we've been able to literally go from the ghetto to take them onto a world front. I had a daughter, you know, my daughters eventually went off to college. One went on the East Coast, one moved to Paris for 5 years. My youngest daughter, who just graduated from Kealakekee, all of my kids, by the way, went to Kealakekee Elementary, kindergarten through 12th grade. Not private school training, right? I'm not saying that that's better or worse. I'm just saying that you make what you make of it, right? It started with our mindset. Got the girls to live in other parts of the world just at young ages so that they could experience these things. And what I realized is that it really was kind of an analogy for our life. Right here, a ghetto mindset, as I would call it, is limiting. It's small, it's closed, it's doubtful, it's lethargic, it's fearful, right? And then a global mindset is abundant, it's big, it's open, it's hopeful, it's energetic, it's courageous. So you see that transition from here to there. That is the important thing that I taught my daughters to do, that I did myself, and that I love to help people to understand that now, especially people from my island. It is very easy to live on an island and feel confined by the coastlines, right? That we have, and feel like, man, this is all we have. And that's why your mindset is going to be a really important thing to dip into. And it starts with understanding this. You are enough. You are worthy and you are enough. I want you to stop and think for a moment. You might have heard this, you might have heard people talking to you about it. I had to fight this saying for so long. And finally, a job call one day, I just said, I asked myself the question. I didn't say you are enough. It started with, am I enough? That's literally, am I enough? It was a question. And eventually that, am I enough? I started proving to myself, oh, well, you accomplished this, you did this. And eventually those accomplishments turned in to me knowing that I am enough. And that's what I'm here to tell you. You are enough already, whether or not you believe it. Just listen to Shan and I'll tell you how, right? But it starts with that little seedling in your mind. So what I want you to do is I want you to understand that that comes from having self-awareness. Self-awareness is the most common trait of high achievers. This is from a study that was done by Cornell University. And I have, again, a whole video on, actually a series of videos on my YouTube channel about why self-awareness is so important to your life, your peace, your happiness, but of course, the abundance that you have, even if it comes down to home ownership and finances. It's asking yourself and being able to answer the simple questions like, am I overspending? And if so, what is causing me to do that? Am I stressed? Did I have a childhood where I didn't get to have things and so now I do? Self-awareness helps you to answer those questions truthfully so you can get to the root of the issues that you might have with finances. So that if you do reach out and get help from somebody who can coach you on that or can help you through your finances, then now you're able to come to grips with what the root is, so that you can, basically pull it out and discard those weeds. Self-awareness is so, so key to that. And I know for many of you, your mamas out there, right? I want you to know, did you know this? Did you know that the greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parent? This came from Dr. Carl Jung, back like late, I want to say like early 1920s, this came out. Think about this. The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of their parent. Now, I heard this very early on. It's a Kona day, so excuse me, I'm just realizing how much I'm sweating. Anywho, it's hot in here and there's no AC in Shan's house. Anywho, sorry, I'm still like, I got squirreled on that because I just realized how sweaty I am. But the greatest burden that a child must bear is the unlived life of its parent. I looked at my parents and I started seeing a lot of the regret that they were carrying around their lives. Oh, I wish I did this. I should have done this. All these coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? And in that moment, especially when I saw this quote, I was like, what am I showing my children? What am I showing them is possible? What am I showing them is hard? How am I creating what the world is like? What worldview am I creating for my children just through my actions and my words? So I had to reframe that and change it to this. I had to change it from being selfish to being whole. You see, as many mothers believe, they feel like if they go and do things like self-care, if they do things for themselves, they feel super selfish about it, right? And whether it's the world, their husbands, their children, their friends, their coworkers, their family, making them feel selfish about it. or if it's just themselves, it's something you really have to refrain, because it's just like they say in the planes. Who, when you're traveling with your children and the oxygen mask drops in, who do they tell you to help first? Yourself. You need to put that oxygen mask over your face in order for you to help your child who's traveling with you. I never understood that, but my friend who worked for the airline told me, Shan, how can you help your kid if you passed out? I'm like, gotcha. Right? Put on yourself, take care of yourself first, then you can help your kids. But what I see is so many mothers just chipping away at themselves, and in this span of like, I'm selfish, I can't do that. This is how I want you to think it. I want you to think of yourself as always being on a journey to wholeness. That the greatest gift, this is the opposite of Dr. Young's quote, the greatest gift I can give my children is letting them observe my path to wholeness. Right? We are all on that. When you show your kids that you take care of yourself, when they become parents, they will take care of themselves, which will make them better parents. It will make you better parents. Are you guys starting to see that picture? It is okay. Now, don't go overboard. Obviously, we need to be balanced in what we do. But what I want you to change is that mindset. It all starts in here before you even utter the first word. It is really important for you to really believe that inside your head. Now, of course, this is just like what, 10, 15 minutes that I'll be sharing this information with you, but this can go on and on. But this might be your first introduction to saying, maybe I am enough. And maybe I should look at it that way, because maybe my kids do deserve a better mom. They don't deserve a B word mom, or a mom who's always grouchy, which I'll tell you, for many of my kids' very young years, I was that mom who was just like, they didn't want to be around. My husband didn't want to be around. And I look back now, and because of my self-awareness, I don't blame them. I mean, I was really tough to learn to be around, because I was just living in such a high stress survival mode type way, because of the high cost of living in Hawaii, because of the low wages that I was earning at the airlines or at the hotels that my husband was working at. And when those two things didn't quantify and we didn't have financial education yet, it really made a difference for the results that we get, which is why I recommend you folks trying to get some kind of financial education to get a hold of your personal finances, whether it's learning how to save, learning how to pay off your debt at an accelerated rate, whatever you need to do. Those are the small things you need to do to really get to the goal. It's not about making more money. I can tell you that right now. You can make more money, but if you don't have the education on how to retain it, it will just fall through the cracks of your fingers. That's why so many people who have won the lottery, usually within 3 to 5 years, are completely broke again. Hundreds of millions of dollars they're winning, and they're broke within years from it, because they never had the education on how to keep it. That's why that is such an important thing for you folks. Now, I wanted to share with you folks 2 pro tips that I give to those, so you guys can have a little something to do after you folks watch this. But 2 things that I help my students to do to kind of help them get themselves, sorry, into the mind frame of what they want to be, right? The first thing I have them do is choose an anthem, right? I want you folks to choose an anthem, a song that kind of gets you going, right? Not necessarily the kind of song that is going to, like get you pumped, like how you listen to when you're getting ready to go to the gym. That's a different thing. This is something that's going to motivate you to take action, right? To get the taxes done so that you can get the paperwork so you can buy the first house, right? So that you can call the person who you've been nervous to call about regarding getting a coach for your finances, right? All these different things that are going to move you towards that big dream that you have, so that you can have these steps of goals in order to achieve that. An anthem, music is very transcending. And if you have an anthem that does that for you, Girl on Fire from Alicia Keys, Superwoman from Alicia Keys. I mean, I have a lot of Alicia Keys playlists. That's just my own personal preference, right? But we all have those little things, and they will be very different for us. I want you to find an anthem that explains where you are and possibly where you're going. Because when you hear that, it'll be your trigger that really helps you to be like, yes, that's right, that's the path that I'm on. And it's a small thing that you can listen to every single day, many times a day, and eventually you start believing it. And when you believe it, you become it. Your thoughts change your reality, just like I said on that first slide. My second tip is a very kind of a fun but easy way to incorporate affirmations. Change your passwords to affirmations, right? I remember for a long time back in the day, my password was like limitless and a whole bunch of numbers, right? Like choose affirmations or words, or like I am enough and a whole bunch of words and characters and everything. Choose things that you're going to be typing in every single day that are positive affirmations. Don't just be like your kids' birthdays or your dog's name or your wife's name, whatever passwords you guys are using. My daughter is head of security at Vanguard on the East Coast, and so she takes care of mostly everyone's 401ks and all the CEOs and everything, and she's cybersecurity head. And the best tip that I can give to you from her for a password is to make it a short sentence. Something like, I walk down the street, not just like a word and a number. It should be, I walk down the street. So I am enough is a perfect one. I am enough, September 0269, right? Whatever your numbers are. But making it an affirmation really helps to not only affirm these beliefs that are positive about yourself, but are something that you're going to be using every single day that really helps to get that mindset going. Small little tools, small little tricks that can help you along, that really do play into the results that you'll get overnight, so for some of you, or over a period of time, which is exactly what you're here for, so that you can grow. Now, mindset growth is a forever journey. I don't want you to think, wow, I watched this awesome thing with Shan, right? And I'm pumped. I'm ready to do this. I hope that you're pumped. I hope that you're wanting to do more. But I want to just give you right now the goods that this is going to be something that's lifelong. You want to commit to locking in and inviting the ideas and thoughts that really help you to grow, right? You want to invite those things in, and when you invite them in there, and then lock them in so that they become a belief. But on the other hand, you also want to protect yourself, right? Like I say here, protect yourself from those ghetto thoughts that will not only come in their own accord, but they'll also come through what I call the Trojan horse of people like family, right? Social media, the news. I stopped watching the news back in 2010. Is there ever any good news on the news? No. So why are you gonna watch it? Why are you gonna have it on loop all the time? I see enough of what's going on in the world through my social media scrolling. I even choose who I follow on social media simply because I'm trying to protect myself from that. The hardest one I will say is family, because a lot of them have the limiting beliefs that we're trying to get away from. It doesn't make them bad people. That's what I want to reiterate to you. But it also just pulls you back as well. So these are conscious efforts that you're going to have to grow over time. And that's why I want you to know that it's okay to not get it overnight. It is just something that you want to commit to, and know that if you really want that big thing, it starts in here. So let me just share with you some places where you can find me if you want more information. Obviously, Instagram is very easy at Shan Otare. I'm on Facebook. My Facebook page is Shan Otare Ghetto Global. That's just my business page. If you want to see it in my videos where I cover a lot more of the things that I've talked about today, go to YouTube and just search me by name. In fact, for the month of February, I did a video every day. I usually do one video a week, and I got audacious, and I'm like, in February, I'm going to do one video a month. I probably will never do that again. It was a lot of work. It's still a lot of work. We're not done yet. But so much goods in there. You guys can go ahead and take a look at that. And then, of course, I have a course that I do called the Audacity Academy. And I have a newsletter. If you just want to get information, that I send out every week, whether it's the positive things, ways to think about things, reframing ideas, especially as it pertains to finances, housing, and really getting this mindset of knowing that you can do this, and that you're enough. Get onto our email list so that you can get those thoughts from me. I share emails every other week so that you guys can be part of that. But definitely something that I wanted to invite you folks in to do. And just thank you folks for allowing me to be here on the Women's Build, right? And to share my thoughts and mano'a and energy and good vibes with all of you ladies and gentlemen out there who are looking to find home ownership. If this girl from the ghetto of Jack Hall and Kona can go on to buy 11 houses here in Kona, then you guys can get your first one, right? It comes with that mindset. It comes with getting the education on how to do it, and not thinking that you can know it all. I'm telling you guys, I'm far into this. I've owned many businesses. We've done very well financially, and I still know that I don't know it all. That is a very key element to your growth. I am always open to growing more. And that's what I want to leave with you folks today. I hope you folks enjoyed this, and I hope that you folks are able to take with you what I was able to share, and maybe plug a little bit of it into your life so that you can start getting to the goals that you want. So I wish you folks well, and I will see you on the other side, guys. Until then, keep evolving. Take care, guys. Aloha. And I have to find this end button, which is like always so hard to find. And look at me, I'm officially sweating. See you guys later. Aloha, guys. Bye.